Philosophers, scientists, and the greatest minds on the planet have been considering these questions for years. And today, on the Electrical Underworld, we're going to answer the world's most important questions whilst playing PowerWash Simulator. And to begin, I'll start us off.
Oh no.
How many toddlers do you think you could fight barehanded?
That's a right off the bat. All right.
Albert Einstein used to ponder this.
I believe it was Lao Tzu who once said, if you think about it hard enough, a toddler can be thrown at really any distance you wish.
Who the hell is Lao Tzu?
Lao Tzu, he's a philosopher.
Is he?
Yeah. You should have really brushed up on your philosophy before getting in on this.
Yeah. I went in too hard on the philosopher stuff. So give us a number. How many toddlers do you think you could take before being overwhelmed by toddlers? Now, to make it more interesting, you need to imagine that these toddlers are flesh-eating toddlers. So you can fight them, knock them out the way, but as soon as you get tired or lie down because you're exhausted or overwhelmed, they'll eat you.
Well, I would say at least 20, because the advantage that you have, even if you're like not even that tall, is that a toddler doesn't even come up to your knees really, so one stomp and they're gone.
That is true. One stomp. But how many stomps have you got in you? That's the thing, you know.
The thing is, I think it's a matter of stamina. So I'd say if it took, mathematically speaking, 4 stomps to kill one. Like, how many stomps would it take for me to get tired? I would say maximum 100 stomps. So I could probably take about 20 toddlers before I give in to my own fatigue.
Fair enough. And then, of course, you're eaten alive.
Yeah, and then I lie down for a nap, and I don't ever wake up again.
They just eat you.
And these bloodthirsty toddlers have consumed my flesh for sustenance.
They are pretty deranged toddlers. This is all they know, human flesh.
Yeah, this is some sort of like weird zombie toddlers, I guess.
Alright, I'm satisfied with that answer. Let us know if you're satisfied with that answer whilst we move on.
If you could be a fish, what fish would you be and what would you do as a fish? So say, like, you're a fish, but you were aware that you were a fish. You were a human before, and now you're a fish.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I have a couple approaches to this. Either, I actually own fish. I would either be a bristlenose, because my bristlenose just lives inside an 8080 all day. I'm a pretty cool guy. I have a Star Wars fish tank.
This is just humble bragging now.
Yeah, I got a Star Wars fish tank.
Shut up.
But he literally just sits inside there all day, comes out for his food, and then goes around sucking on everything. What I mean by that... What I mean by that is he just goes around sucking the ground, sucking the glass. Yeah. I've worded this pretty poorly.
Yeah, I feel like you have.
However, seems like a good life, Seems like a good life.
I guess whatever floats your boat.
On the flip side, if he was in the wild, I think he'd be eaten.
He's like by a barracuda or something.
Yeah. So what I would be is either something really cool, like one of those super deep down fish.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that no one ever sees. Or I'd be one of those, like, I can't remember what they're called. I think they're called like angelfish or something, and they are literally huge, and nothing eats them because they are just so big, and they just cruise around, and it's a good life. So that would be my approach to that. Yeah. Either a sucky kind of bristlenose, picture on screen for you, or a big sunfish. I think they're called like a sunfish or an angelfish. I will find them and put a picture on the screen and correct myself.
Yeah.
But that's what I'd be.
Very interesting.
What do you think cave people would have had nightmares about?
That's a good... What the hell? That's such a random one. Alright, so I think cave people, if they could at least conceptualize having nightmares. Are we talking like Neanderthal type people?
Yeah, right back, early, first
man,
first man.
Took a stick and smacked someone with it.
People on the head, bonking people on the head.
Yeah, lived in caves, hence the name.
Just dumbing down the question, yeah.
I think the movie The Croods is true to nature. Is that I think they would probably... Fear would drive them. As Grug, he says, or, fear is what keeps them in the same place.
Guy was smart, he was
very
Nick
smart.
Cage.
Nick Cage is very smart.
The bees!
The bees were also smart, I think. That's how they got him. I think they would have had nightmares but really basic things. Like, humans today lead very complex lives. Back then it was food,
Survive.
smash.
Food and smash.
Food and smash.
Sounds like a good Saturday night, you know what I'm saying?
Food and smash. So it's a great time for everyone. So I think they would probably have nightmares of I hope a saber cat doesn't take nest in this cave that I'm trying to hide in and eat me alive whilst I slumber.
Or humans weren't around when there were dinosaurs, but I guess there was still some really messed up animals back then, like giant. Everything was just giant.
Everything was just everything's gotten a little bit smaller, apart from the blue whale for some reason.
Well, the blue whale has a lot of food source. The reason everything dies off is because their food source is too scarce.
Yeah, that's true.
And
the
they're
blue
too
whale's
big.
got the ocean.
They got big appetites and tummies. Yeah, I can imagine they're just sort of their nightmares are just I hope I wake up tomorrow at the age of 12.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I had a cough this morning. Or it's
That's
like
about it.
No, it's like a kid going to sleep. It's like, I heard my dad cough last night. Well, that's annoying because now I'm gonna have to find a new dad.
Now this
tomorrow.
is it for me.
Yeah, he coughed once. That means I don't know if they would have realised that.
Yeah, I don't think they
Colds
would have
were
understood
infectious.
that. But no, that makes sense. Good, like that. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
In today's society, do you believe that Socrates would be a smart guy? Or do you think he'd be some sort of flat earth conspiracy theorist man?
That is a great question.
I know.
My first thoughts were, the generation we live in now is really not that smart.
Yeah, that's true.
However, I don't know very much about Socrates. All I know is,
He was considered a clever guy.
yeah, he was considered smart. Now, I think to be smart back in the time without technology takes a lot more effort than to be smart where you literally have everything at your fingertips.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think he'd succumb to that kind of thing? He'd be like, I'm trying to answer some questions, but I don't really feel like getting the answer, so I might just go on ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'll just go on TikTok for an hour, and then his brain disintegrates and melts, and he's no
into
longer
oblivion.
smart.
And he just becomes like a normal person. There's more layers to this question than I really actually thought.
I would say, just to make matters simple, I think Socrates would still be considered smart now, because to be smart back then without everything at your fingertips takes a lot more effort. However, it is hard to gauge when I don't know the bloke, is he a flat earther? Then,
well, that's the thing. That's
already
what
lost
they thought. They thought that, the Earth was in the centre and the sun orbited us.
He thought that the light was in the centre of the orb, in the centre of the light?
Yeah. And he wasn't even on mushrooms when he thought about that.
That's a reference to Goop, for anyone who wants to know. That was a good question. Good question. I would say yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why?
Is that the end of the question?
Why?
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 Answer me now. Why, Common? Why? Why?
How do I answer why? What? Is How do I answer why? Why? There you have it. The most important questions, the hardest questions in the world to answer, answered by two of the greatest minds here today for you. If you can think of any questions you want us to answer for next time, put them in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more, and we will see you next time.